So then, the Black Ops Cold War Alpha is here, and I've got some first impressions that I can share with you. Obviously, with this being an alpha test, things aren't 100% perfect. I don't expect everything to be fully polished at this point, but nonetheless, this is kind of the experience that you're going to get in November when the full game releases. I'm mainly a PC player, so I've shifted away from my 1440p 144Hz display over to 1080p limited to 60Hz because of the PS4 console. That was a challenge in its own right, on top of the fact I was playing a brand new game, and it certainly affected my gameplay here, but I did still have fun, so if parts of the gameplay look a little bit sketchy, then you're going to have to forgive me. So first of all, I quite like the gunplay and the movement systems that Treyarch have built. The time to kill is definitely slower than Modern Warfare, so there's now an opportunity for you to turn round and try and return fire at somebody who's shooting at you, which is quite nice. Personally, I don't mind fast time to kills like the one we had in Modern Warfare. I was quite comfortable with it, but you kind of just get used to time to kills the more you play with them, and you just learn as you go. But it's definitely easier when you take things a step slower in general, because you can react, and sometimes you can turn around and even kill the player that was shooting at you. And I think people that are coming back to Call of Duty this year, maybe they didn't play Modern Warfare, or they did to begin with and they're not playing it anymore, they are going to find this experience a little more gentle to get into, at least to begin with anyway. I feel like the guns do have quite a severe damage drop-off to them, and you can feel that more clearly on the bigger 12v12 domination maps because of that added space. SMGs, anything beyond 15 meters, they aren't really going to work that well. You're going to have to fire lots of bullets to get kills with those. The assault and the tactical rifles, they dominate the mid-range, but they still require good accuracy and some decent bursting to keep them downing enemy players. I really, really like the sniping in Black Ops Cold War. I like the way that you can aim down sight really, really quickly, get onto a player, and you can land the shot almost instantly. It's got a really good feeling, the sniping in this game. Now, having gotten used to things like mounting weapons and tactical sprint in Modern Warfare, not having those things in Black Ops Cold War is kind of jarring at first. So trying to activate the tactical sprint after sliding and it not happening, that did get me killed quite a few times in my first few games. And there are really so many places on the maps here in Black Ops Cold War where mounting your gun would be of massive benefit, but of course it's just not available. You can't do that here. The tactical sprint, that has been replaced with a new sprinting system that, at first, when you first start sprinting, you are sprinting a little bit faster, and then it slows down gradually to a more traditional sprinting speed, which I think is a good replacement, but it's not the direct two-stage version that we have in Modern Warfare. It creates a bit more unpredictability in enemy movement speed right now. But over time, I think it's something that we'll all get accustomed to, and we won't even remember is a problem further down the line. I understand the decisions to remove tactical sprint and mounting. That's not the sort of experience that the Treyarch team are looking to create here. I am going to miss those features, I will be honest. I do think they helped create a different layer of gameplay within the tried and tested Call of Duty arena-style shooter. It kind of branched things out a little bit. And in that respect, Black Ops Cold War is very much your more traditional Call of Duty game. It's sticking to the brand more so than the Modern Warfare reboot did last year. My main concern, though, is moving between classic multiplayer over to Warzone, and the different systems being used between the two different gameplay types. When you click on the Warzone tile in the Cold War menu, the game closes and it launches Warzone directly, which is included within Modern Warfare. And that leads me to believe that Warzone is going to stay on the Modern Warfare engine, and Treyarch will sort of be bringing things like weapons, gadgets, potentially map locations over into the older Modern Warfare engine. And if you play a lot of Black Ops Cold War in the future and you still play a lot of Warzone, that could create quite a bit of a disconnect between the two products if it's not handled very well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here, and I'm sure that we're going to find out more soon when Treyarch takes the time to detail their Warzone plans. Now, one thing that I thought was fairly obviously not working properly within the Cold War Alpha is the sound design. Treyarch took some time in their reveal blog post to talk about how the sound engine for Black Ops Cold War has been built with this sound prioritization system that will make more important sounds louder, bring them to the front so that you can react to them during gameplay. In practice, in this alpha, I don't think that's working properly. Admittedly, lots of players are already running around with suppressors on their guns, and that's going to change the gun sound completely, but there were several times during kill cams that I can see players running around without suppressors on their guns, with loud firing sounds happening in the kill cam, but just a few seconds before in live gameplay where I got killed, I didn't hear any of those firing sounds. All I get is the notification on screen where the screen starts going red that I'm being hit, and then I go down. I don't get any of that audio feedback. Sometimes gunfights happening only a few meters away. Maybe you run round the corner and you see a gunfight happening because there's flashes on the screen, but there's no gun sounds sometimes, or they sound really, really muffled when I don't think they should because I'm standing right in front of the gunfight. Sometimes there's only muzzle flash that's happening. Footsteps, sometimes they're there, and when they are quite clear, and they're really good directionally, so you can kind of tell where somebody's going, but sometimes they're not. Perks like Ninja, they're not going to help in this situation either, since that perk is designed to muffle footstep sounds when you're sprinting, but the whole inconsistency of footsteps and gun sounds not working, it doesn't make for a particularly enjoyable experience when you can't rely on the sound design of the game. Sound is an incredibly important part of a first-person shooter, and when it's not working properly, it's really not that great. It can be quite frustrating to be crept up on by someone that you had no idea was there, only for the kill cam to play, and then you hear their footsteps perfectly, and you hear the end of their previous gunfight that you didn't get to hear live in the game. Overall, the sound in Black Ops Cold War is also extremely bass-heavy, and I think that creates a really muddy soundscape, where it's almost like you're listening to certain sounds through a couple of layers of pillows. It really muffles the sound, and at the moment, it doesn't sound that great. The point of alphas is to test things out and to give feedback, so Treyarch, I think that your new audio system needs a bit of work. It feels like a step down from what's available in Modern Warfare at the moment, so I think you might need to take another look at it. And then, I am going to mention it, skill-based matchmaking, SBMM. It's definitely present in Cold War, as it was in Modern Warfare, and it feels just as harsh as it's been for the last several months. I'm not a fan of SBMM at all, but it appears to be part of the COD franchise quite heavily now, which is a shame. There's already a lot of discontent surrounding the system in Modern Warfare, and the conversation reached such a point yesterday, the day the alpha launched for Cold War, that the phrase SBMM was trending worldwide on Twitter. So many people were talking about it, I don't think it could have escaped the notice of the Treyarch team and the Activision team. Again, alphas are for testing, so Activision and Treyarch, please tone down the SBMM for Black Ops Cold War. If you want people to have fun, keep the SBMM more subtle. What it's been for the last few months in Modern Warfare and how it appears to be going in the alpha of Cold War, it seems way too harsh. So if there's any way you could, like, turn it down, that would be great. And at the moment, that's all I really want to talk about. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on this because it is only an alpha, and I'm really waiting for the beta at the beginning of October to really get a feel for the game, and I think that will be definitely more indicative of what the final game is going to be like. I'm enjoying the alpha, I'm having good fun with my friends, but there's a few niggle points, and I was expecting those because, well, it's an alpha. Thanks very much for watching, hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, or a dislike if you didn't, and I'll catch you in the next one.